Good morning, magandang umaga po. Today I want to talk about the reasons you should not consider dual citizenship. Dual citizenship is good, but there are certain factors that you have to take into account. If you meet those conditions, you have to think twice about whether you want to be a US citizen and a Filipino citizen or Philippine citizen. So that's what we're going to discuss. Stay with me and I'll be back. There are 5 main reasons why you should not consider dual citizenship. It may not be good. You have to be aware of this before you make a decision to be a dual citizen of the Philippines and the United States. Now, after each one, I will add a commentary as to why, in spite of these precautions, I decided to be a dual citizen. But nevertheless, you need to be aware of this. Okay? So let's talk about the first one.
Number 1. Limited assistance abroad. As a dual citizen, you are bound by the laws of 2 countries, and either has the right to enforce its laws on you. If you commit a crime, or are accused of committing a crime, determining under which country's laws you should be prosecuted can get rather complicated. If you are abroad, the U.S. government's effort to help you could be hindered. Your options for assistance may be limited or even non-existent.
Okay, in spite of this, I decided not to worry about it because I do not plan to commit a crime. So I started thinking about, well, what other possibilities could there be that I could be accused of a crime? Because that is a possibility. You don't necessarily have to be guilty of a crime if you're accused for a specific crime. You may have to face the court, and the United States cannot touch you because the Philippines has an equal right as the United States to prosecute you in that country. So I can't think of anything, honestly, why this could be a problem, but it could be. Okay? Nevertheless, it's probably a slight possibility.
Number 2. Military service. If you're a dual citizen in the U.S. and a country that has mandatory military service, you can lose your U.S. citizenship under certain circumstances, such as if you serve as an officer in a foreign military, if the foreign military force is engaged in war against the U.S., or if you volunteer for service rather than submitting to mandatory service, or if you intend to renounce U.S. citizenship. In general, U.S. policy recognizes that dual citizens might be legally bound to fulfill military obligations abroad, and many individuals can do so without jeopardizing their U.S. citizenship.
I did not worry about the military service because at my age, I'll be 70 soon. Will I ever engage in any military service in that situation? Should I even worry about it? No, I should not worry about it because I will not be involved in war. Maybe I shouldn't say that because I could be, but at my condition, no. I think that's highly unlikely.
Number 3. Potential for double taxation. The U.S. imposes taxes on its citizens for income earned anywhere in the world. So if you are a dual citizen living abroad, you may owe taxes in the U.S. for income earned abroad, plus owe taxes in the country where you earn the income. There are income tax treaties in effect between the U.S. and some countries that can reduce or eliminate the U.S. citizens' tax liability in the U.S. while they're living or earning abroad. However, some states in the U.S. do not recognize the provisions of tax treaties, so you may still be on the hook for state taxes.
Regarding the possibility of double taxation, there is a treaty between the Philippines and the United States. But let's not talk about that treaty because I don't want this to be a complicated issue. First of all, when you are in the Philippines changed their law. I guess this is to accommodate or to encourage people to come back to the country, that they will not tax any foreign source income if you are a dual citizen. Usually, just like the United States, they will tax you on worldwide income, any income you have. But if you are a dual citizen, they say no, you will only be taxed on income you earn in the Philippines. If you earn any income in the United States, that will be tax-free. So if you have Social Security or pension plan, all coming from the United States, that will be tax-free in the Philippines. Now, at my age, I don't plan to work. I plan to retire and enjoy life. So, would that apply to me? No, it wouldn't. So, in that case, this should be a non-event. Also, if I have small amount of income for whatever reason, I believe there is a 100,000 tax-free for United States citizens who are living in the Philippines or living abroad. So for the first 100,000, or maybe it's 150,000, anyway, it's big. You don't have to pay income taxes in the United States. However, you may still have to file. For example, if you have income in the US, you still have to file in the US. And also, if you have income in the Philippines, although Philippines will not tax it, the United States will. Okay, now, but in the event you become subject to tax in the Philippines because of the level of income you're making, you will get a credit for taxes you pay in the Philippines against your US income tax. Not a deduction, a dollar for dollar credit for taxes you pay in the Philippines. So really, there is no double taxation. However, you have to worry about the states, because some states do not acknowledge or recognize this treaty or this federal law that says you cannot be taxed twice. So you may be subjected to state tax. So think about that. But in my case, I'm changing my tax residence from Pennsylvania to Washington. And in Washington, there is no state income tax. So that's also a non-event for me. But that's something you have to think about.
Number 4, career problems. If your career goals involve a position with the U.S. federal government or access to classified information, dual citizenship could prevent you from gaining the security clearance you need to work in these fields. If you're born into dual citizenship, you may encounter fewer problems than if you were actively sought out a dual citizenship.
Career problems. If you are still a working age, you may want to think about this, because you may not be able to get government contracts or work for the government that would require you to have security clearance. So that could be a bummer. So you may want to think twice about that if you will work for the government. So that's one of the few instances when you do not have it's not a good idea for you to be a dual citizen. But in my case, I'm retired. I don't plan to work. I don't plan to work for the government, anything like that. So, non-event for me also.
Number 5, lengthy, expensive process. One final disadvantage of dual citizenship is the process itself. If you're not born a dual citizen and seek to become one through marriage or naturalization, the process can take years and cost thousands of dollars depending on the country's laws regarding citizenship.
Now, the one final disadvantage is that the process of getting the citizenship could be lengthy. That does not apply to me. The reason being, I'm a Philippine-born citizen, or I'm a native of the Philippines. So dual citizenship does not take me 10 years, for example. For a foreigner to apply in the Philippines to be a Philippine citizen, it takes 10 years. 10 years of residence, and or if you marry a Filipina woman, it will be cut down to 5 years. But in my case, because I'm Philippine born, it's 1 day. So it does not apply to me either.
Bottom line, while there are numerous benefits to dual citizenship, the disadvantages should be considered carefully before launching the long, complicated process of achieving that status. Because dual citizenship could be complex, consult with qualified experts, including tax accountants and experienced citizenship lawyers.
There you have it. I have given to you the 5 most significant, I can't think of anything else to be honest, but 5 significant factors to take into account before you apply for dual citizenship. But for most Filipinos, not foreigners who apply for Philippine citizenship, but Filipinos who want to go back and reacquire the Philippine citizenship, you're retired, for the retired individuals I'm talking about, you should have no problem. You should have no possibility of committing a crime, I don't think. You do not have to wait a lengthy period of time. You can get your dual citizenship in 1 day. You're not working anymore, so there is no disadvantage as far as your career is concerned. You're not going to be applying for military service. Potential for double taxation. Maybe there's a little tiny one there for the state. If you plan to obviously retain your U.S. citizenship or U.S. residence, if you are a resident in a state that would preclude you from being taxed twice, you may be subject to state tax, but not the federal. I would say if you meet the right conditions, it will make sense to do it. But just watch out for these things because it will not apply to everybody. Some people will be hit by this and there could be a disadvantage that you'll be facing. Okay? So, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And please do like and subscribe and do share it with other people so that they'll benefit from it. Thank you again and make it a great day.